Alrighty. Away we go. We got another Stock Watch Sunday underway. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Stock Watch Sunday. My name is Brad, and this is Own the Chaos. So if you've never been here before, first of all, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Super pumped to help you navigate your week throughout the stock market this week. This is something that I do every single Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to, see what I'm all about, I would encourage you to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and you'll get notified every time I put up a video. Now, just to kind of give you perspective of how Stock Watch Sunday has gone. Last week I was 5 for 5. What I mean by that is I'm just going to give you a little bit of a rundown here, okay? So I had to write it down because it was just too good. It was just too good. And this is a regular occurrence on Stock Watch Sunday. So this is another reason why you need to give me a good old thumbs up and a subscribe, because this is really going to help you through your trading career. If you don't even take advantage of any other stuff that I offer, at least tune in to Stock Watch Sunday, okay? So Apple, all right? Apple. I talked about Apple last week, said that everything I was going to be bullish on last week. We talked about that. And Apple went up 11 points. Now, Apple was an amazing move. I talked about last June about how I felt Apple was going to reach 300 points before the end of the year. I was 2 days off on that. January 2nd, the first market open of the year. Finally hit 300 points in after hours. But anyways, it hit 300 points regardless. Just checking in with you guys. What's up, guys? All right. And so Apple was 1 for 1, right? So Tesla. Next one was Tesla. Talked about Tesla, about, where would be optimal points to get in. From when we talked about it on Stock Watch Sunday, it rallied to 24 points and blasted past 450. I made an amazing trade on Friday, but I was in and out of it all week last week. Amazing move on Tesla. What a monster that thing is, okay? AMD, we talked about this one. This wasn't as much of a move as I anticipated, but nevertheless, it was a great move. If you got into AMD after Stock Watch Sunday, you would have been up 3 points on that one. Didn't quite crack $50. I think perhaps it does that by the end of the week this week. We'll see how the economic climate reacts and how the market reacts to all that. But those are the 3 big board stocks. Now, if you're visiting for the first time, I do a little bit of penny stocks and I do a little bit of big board stocks as well. So if you're into the large cap stuff, we got that here for you. And if you're into penny stocks, we got that here for you too. So ABCE was on Stock Watch Sunday last Sunday, and it only went up, close to 90% since being featured on Stock Watch Sunday. So ABCE, another really quality win. And the one to top it all off, the cherry on top, was OWCP. When we featured it on Stock Watch Sunday last Sunday, it was just under 5 cents and then went up over 15 cents this week for over a 200% gain. So there you have it. That is why you tune in to Stock Watch Sunday. Whoops. That's why you tune in to Stock Watch Sunday. And that's why, I don't know. Maybe this channel is underrated. What do you guys think? So anyways, I just wanted to go up and, kind of give you what it is that we're all about on Stock Watch Sunday and what I try to do on this channel, and just to provide you guys with unbelievable value. And, this past Stock Watch Sunday definitely did that for you. And we do it every single week. We just crush it, guys. It's a lot of fun. I had a great time this week and planning on crushing it again today. So before I get into it, let me go ahead and welcome you guys here. What's up, Alan? Good to see you. First of all, Alan, shout out to you, man. I appreciate the donation. More support for this channel. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Bob Shark 181, you too, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate the love. I can't thank you enough, guys. You two in particular have been some of my biggest cheerleaders, my loudest supporters. So thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. You guys are great. Let me welcome a few other folks here. Hope, happy to see you here. Quick Fox, what's up, man? Trials, Arm Trader. Hey, what's up, Caleb? Good to see you, buddy. Thomas, Mark, Joe, what's up, J Kaz? Good to see you, man. No doubt underrated. That's right, man. That's right. So I appreciate it. So yeah, if you guys could give me a thumbs up, give me some more support, I certainly would appreciate that. And what's going on in the market this week? Well, there's obviously a lot of trouble going on in the Middle East, between the Middle East and the U.S. Donald Trump, ordered, the assassination of, I have to say this because I saw somebody on, I don't know what news network it was, and we won't get into that, but somebody called General Salami. So we'll just call him General Salami from now on. But anyway, Donald Trump whacked General Salami, and Iran was really pissed about that. So now they're, going back and forth. Well, this is causing some issues in the stock market, and I think this is just going to be a small overreaction, and we can play on that. So, futures are down, and, for the market, but there's areas of the market that we can trade in and make some really good profits. So, looking into this right now, and I'll share my screen with you in just a second. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to bring you over to WeTrade HQ. Now, if you're not familiar with WeTrade HQ, this is a platform that I built with my partner, Jake. We're constantly improving it, constantly evolving it. And basically what WeTrade HQ is just an area for you to learn how to trade or invest in the stock market. And we have many mentors that you can take part in. You can join mine, of course. I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time and just show you how I prepare for the stock market, make my plan, and execute that plan, making great trades, most of the time green, sometimes they're red. That's just part of trading. But right now, until tomorrow at midnight, if you haven't taken part in any of the mentorships, they're all 20% off. So you can take part in mine, Don's, Cameron's, any of these other mentors that are on here that you see. They're all 20% off right now, site-wide. So if you want to take advantage of that, feel free to do so. This is part of our New Year's sale, so if you want to take advantage of that, it is good until tomorrow at midnight. So make sure that you be on the lookout for that. All right? So again, moving on. So we're looking at gold right now. So if you guys aren't familiar with how the market works in economic stability or geopolitical issues, whatever you want to call it, times of war, any kind of instability like that, everybody likes to flock to gold. And if we pull it up on Thinkorswim right now, we can look at Thinkorswim, and that's GLD. But if we pull up futures, which is /GC, if you're not familiar with that, you can pull up /GC. Right now, it's spiked all the way up to 1590, and it's at 1577. And so when I'm looking at gold futures, I look to certain particular stocks. You could play JNUG. JNUG is a little bit more finicky, but I do like GLD. I also like the actual ticker symbol gold. So GOLD is another good one if you want to get into something that's a little bit cheaper. But I'll move over to gold too. I didn't have it pulled up, but we can pull that up. So anyway, I have GLD, which is the ETF for gold, pulled up here. And I marked a few areas of resistance. So if you look at GLD, and this might be a little bit harder to see. So let me actually zoom in here for you guys. So I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. And so I have GLD pulled up here. And right now, the way that that gold is moving, I imagine that GLD is probably going to have a hell of a spike in the morning. So I marked a resistance here at 158. We haven't seen these levels since 2013. So it's going to be an unbelievable move for gold tomorrow. Really crazy stuff. A lot of the reason is because the market's moved so well over the last really year. 2019 was an incredible year for the stock market. And so when the stock market moves higher and higher and higher, you start to see, a shift. A lot of the bigger investors, banks, what have you, start to, diversify their portfolio in a manner to where they can protect themselves in the event that the market corrects. And it will correct at some point. So you got to make sure that you're covering your butt. And so that's what's happening here. But you pair that with, China's still not a done deal as far as the trade war is concerned. And now you have economic instability when it comes to, the unrest between the U.S. and Iran and the Middle East altogether. It's just Iraq too. So, and so that is why people are flocking towards gold. And so you're looking at GLD and really, and this is on the daily chart. So I had to pull this all the way back out to 2013. And this is the last time we saw these levels. So if you're looking at resistance points, you could probably, make a decent play on gold if we end up seeing it break over 158, which honestly, I think that ends up doing it pre-market tomorrow. So we'll see if that happens. And then, breaking up over 164. So if it breaks 158, it should make a nice continuation. We'll see if that does that. But how are you going to make a play here? Well, I think that what I would do is just be patient. Anytime any major catalyst takes takes place, whether, it's just on that individual stock, if it's a reverse merger, if it's some huge FDA deal, and it happens pre-market, I always tell my folks, and I practice what I preach, be patient. For me personally, it's very rare that I make a pre-market trade. Sometimes I will if it's juicy enough. If I think the risk reward there is worth it, I'll trade some stuff pre-market. But really, ultimately, I think the real play comes after the market opens. And so, oftentimes, when you see huge spikes like this, there'll be some sort of pullback after the market opens, because all those people that bought tonight, all those people that bought Friday, all those people that bought pre-market, they're looking to take their profits. So you'll see some sort of sell-off, more than likely. It doesn't always happen this way, but in most cases, you'll see some sort of sell-off after the market opens. So tomorrow after market open, look for a pullback and maybe a bounce at 158 if it's already broken that pre-market, or even if it's broken 164. Look for a bounce off of these support levels, and that's where you want to kind of make your entries. So that's what I'll end up doing for GLD. This will definitely be one that I keep my eye on. So these are certain areas that you're just going to want to pay attention to. And again, as promised, I'll pull up gold just for you guys if you want to get into something a little bit cheaper. This also follows gold futures. And so this is one that you may want to consider getting into, but it's a little less volatile. So maybe it's for you if you're not looking for something that you want to be, stuck in forever. So, this is, but as you can see, it's the same chart. It's just cheaper. So looking at this one's 1857. I think it ends up breaking up. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Let me pull it up on Thinkorswim, actually, because it looks like it's got gold futures. So we'll pull up gold here. So yeah, so let's pull it out to the 4-hour chart. So you can see how it follows gold pretty closely. It's the same chart, just essentially it's just a little bit cheaper. If you guys have smaller accounts, you want to be able to get more shares of something like this. This is definitely something you may want to consider getting into. So if you're looking at this one, same thing though. I'm sure it probably ends up breaking up over 1886. I think GOLD will end up breaking over 20 tomorrow. I know that it sounds crazy, but crazier things have happened, and I think that the reaction here is going to be pretty crazy. It's going to be a strong overreaction. So if you're looking to trade something smaller, you can look at GOLD, and I think it ends up breaking over $20, probably pre-market, but same situation. I would wait till after market open, wait to see what happens after the dust settles, look for supports, and that's where I would end up making my move on that one. All right, let me check in with you guys, see how y'all are doing. He whacked a salami. I didn't even think about that, Hope. What's up, Michael? Good to see you. Super chat. Yeah, that's right. Jamaican day trader. JNug's always a good play overnight in pre-market. Yeah, I would agree with that. Jamaican day trader for sure. NUGT. Yeah, any of those ETFs that are related to gold, you guys can take a look at. These are just the two that I pulled up just to kind of give you perspective on what you're looking at. So, JNugs is another really good example of what you could, be trading tomorrow as it relates to gold. This one's going to be a little bit more finicky though, because it does react sometimes to the actual market. So if it ends up following the market, it may be a little weird. It may react a little bit weirder as far as JNug's concerned, because it is triple leverage, so your risk is increased here. But you could trade JNug. This may even be one that I end up trading. It just kind of depends on how the market reacts. But the safer bet would be to look to something like GLD or GOLD and kind of make the trade there. So if you're looking to trade JNug, look for a breakup above maybe $90, which I'm sure it'll happen pre-market. Let's see if it ends up going over 100. We saw this go over 100 when the China trade war was at its peak back in late spring, early summer. And maybe it ends up breaking up over 100 this time around. We'll see. But anyways, I would still wait till after market open to make any kind of really quality day trading decision if you're looking to do that with any gold-related stock, period. And really, that's just going to be the theme of tomorrow, really. You're just being patient is going to be the most crucial part of what it is that you do when making a trading decision. Here's the thing. What you need to understand is that everybody's reacting, and it's always a knee-jerk reaction. So the mindset that you need to get yourself into is to not, have that fear of missing out emotional reaction. And so what separates quality day traders and investors from the people that are just running around like a chicken with their head cut off and losing out is just sitting back and waiting for that reaction and playing to that overreaction. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, wait for that reaction and then react. So I'm not going to be, just because everybody's buying up gold doesn't mean that you need to be buying up gold. You need to be kind of doing the opposite, waiting for that pullback, waiting for the opportunity to get in at a fair price, because it's going to be way overinflated, because it's going to be, there's going to be a crazy overreaction, right? So you're going to be the one, the smart one, to not make that emotional reaction and just be patient enough to wait for opportunities. And so that's the overall plan. That's how you win in the stock market. And that's just with anything, any major catalyst. And so making sure that you kind of like really get down deep and not react the way that everybody else is reacting. It's not, a follow the leader. You really kind of need to go against the flow in most cases. So that's how my plan is going to be going into it tomorrow. Another one that you're going to want to check another, I guess, sector you want to check out is oil. So there's plenty of other areas as far as oil is concerned, drip, as far as ETFs are concerned. The reason oil is going to be making such a big move tomorrow is because of where this instability is taking place. The unrest is taking place in the Middle East, which we know is very heavily saturated with oil. We most of the world's oil comes from the Middle East. So because of the issues that are going on there, that is why the price of oil is going to be going up. So if you guys want to follow along again with me, and I'm going to be pulling up UWT. So UWT is another ETF as it relates to oil. And if we go and look at oil futures, which is /CL, if you're following along on Thinkorswim. So /CL is oil futures. We haven't seen this kind of move since, this was another issue that was going on in the Middle East back in September. And so now it just went way up above that support. So I would anticipate this probably continues to go up. The price of oil is probably going to go up quite a bit. Look for it to maybe hit around $66 a barrel or more, maybe even up over 70. We'll just have to watch, wait, and see. But as it relates to oil futures, you can look at other ETFs to potentially trade. So right now, if you're looking at UWT, which is a oil ETF, and same thing, you're going to treat this very similarly to what you would treat gold. So you're going to look for the overreaction. You're going to, or just wait for your opportunity to hop into this one. So it closed at 1546 yesterday, and I think that with the way that it spiked up already tonight, we probably will see a move up over $18. So what I'm looking for is a move up over $18. I don't think it goes up over 20 pre-market. We'll see. That kind of remains to be seen how much of a overreaction this is going to be. But if it breaks up over $18, that's going to be kind of your sweet spot to enter in if you can get in on that break. If not, wait and be patient with this and wait for it to pull back. If it breaks up over 18, wait for that pullback to potentially bounce over 18. And then if it breaks up over 20, again, same thing. Be patient enough to wait for your opportunity to take advantage of the overreaction here. And so UWT definitely would be that. And let's just say that, it ends up coming right back down after everybody kind of gets over themselves. You could always look to DWT, which is the inverse of UWT. So if you're expecting oil prices to come down, you could go to DWT and make that same type of trade. Just being patient and waiting until after the market opens is going to be your ticket, your meal ticket here. So just be on the lookout for that. And, so those are the two areas you're going to want to pay attention to tomorrow, just as it relates to, gold and oil futures right now. Those are the, one areas you're going to want to take a look at. Next is going to be Tesla. Tesla, as long as Tesla keeps going the way that it is, I'm going to keep trading it. And so I'm still planning on going long on Tesla. One of the things that I always kind of joke around with my folks is that, the first rule when trading Tesla is you just don't short Tesla. Just see kind of a little bit of a play on words from Fight Club. It's one of my favorite movies. But Tesla, again, all-time highs this week. I think we go higher, but it won't be without its pullback. It had a huge gap up, on January 2nd, first trading day of the year, and it really didn't come down. So I'm looking for perhaps some sort of gap fill. Tesla's had a lot of really positive news come out over this past week. Maybe it continues, maybe it doesn't. But again, looking for a nice bounce off of 442. Or if it ends up breaking 442 and has that pullback, I would love for it to come back down to 430 so I can scoop some up down in the 430s. Never actually came back down that far. It came down as low as 436 on Friday. And I wish I would have gotten 436, but nevertheless, still made an incredible trade on Tesla on Friday, and it was a great trade. So I'm looking to capitalize on that. I'm 2 for 2 as far as green days are concerned for the year, and looking to make that 3 for 3 tomorrow. Definitely looking to go long on Tesla. Just a matter of where it's going to bounce. And I think, like I said, if it can hold 440, great. If not, then I'll be looking for opportunities down at 435. And then if it can't hold that, then I'll be looking for opportunities again down around that 430 range. So I would love for it to come back down to 430. That would be fantastic. That is when that's when I'll end up scooping some of this up. But just, again, looking for those opportunities, guys. That's going to be your meal ticket when trading this week, especially with everything that's going on. So let me check in with you guys. Good strip UWT. Yeah, thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. Metal trade should be good for the next few days. Yes, absolutely. What's up? What's up, Music Bill? Good to see you. Overreaction is a good term to use. Yeah, radical hacks. Yeah, for sure. $2 entry for Aurora. We can look into some of that. So yeah, if you guys have questions about particular stocks that maybe you want me to take a look at, for sure, bring those up. But give me some context to it. I kind of shy away from people who just start throwing tickers my way. Give me some direction. Why do you see value in it? And then we can kind of have a conversation about that. So, anyways, moving on to the next one's going to be AMD. So I have AMD pulled up here. Again, this is one that we talked about last Stock Watch Sunday. I'm still bullish on this one, but this all kind of depends on how the market reacts. I think that AMD ends up coming down. AMD is one that kind of follows the rest of the market for the most part. And so I think AMD ends up having an overall red day if the S&P 500 or SPY ends up having a red day. And so what I'll be looking for is just, an opportunity. I probably won't be trading this first thing in the morning because I want to wait and see how the rest of the market reacts. So I'll be paying very close attention to the SPY. And so looking for it to potentially come all the way back down to $45 or $46. $45.99, $46 flat seems to be that area where it could potentially pull back to and maybe bounce from. But this is kind of all subject to, what happens tomorrow, the overreaction. We're going to play on that overreaction. So looking at AMD, this is a decently priced stock that anybody could end up trading if you know what you're doing. So I would look for opportunities for it to maybe come back down to $47.89, but I think that it ends up coming lower just given the reaction that we're seeing in futures tonight. And so I think it comes back down to around, like I said, $46 seems to be a nice little area where it could potentially bounce from. If it doesn't, if it breaks through that, then you're just going to have to wait and see and watch for that reversal. Because at this point, that's kind of the only area that I would really, be looking to potentially hop in on if I can see it bounce from there. But I'm not too keen on it if it ends up continuing to break from there. It's just going to have to really depend on how the rest of the market reacts and just how strong of a reaction this ends up being. So AMD is still very much on the radar. This is a really good quality stock that you can kind of hang your hat on. And when it comes to predictability, you can really kind of make a career, honestly, trading AMD if you really wanted to. But yeah, anyways, that would be my plan on AMD this week. And let me check in with you guys right now. Miguel's totally late. You missed the hair, man. Miguel loves some B. Smith hair, that's for sure. Good to see you, buddy. Value on OTX, 3 offerings, price keeps going up. Yep, we can take a look at that one. All right. African Emporium, what's up, my man? What's going on, Willis? Good to see you, man. He says stock semiconductor ETF worth watching for those bullish on AMD, NVIDIA. Yep, I would agree with that. Some good insight from Willis. Always love seeing you here, buddy. Appreciate you that you're on tonight. Good to see you. So yeah, SOX. We can take a look at that one. So SOX, if you guys are looking to trade anything that as it relates to like what Willis was saying as far as semiconductors and that sort of thing. So let's pull it out to the daily chart, and we'll see how this reacts too, because I think that this may have a similar reaction to everything else that's going on. But yeah, you could look at this one. You know, it's a little bit high price if you have a smaller account and it's something that maybe you're not necessarily keen on trading. But I think that, you know, I think people focus too much on price and not so much focus on the move itself. So this will definitely be one to keep an eye on. Look for it to maybe come down to around 259 or maybe even around 266. I don't know if this ends up going up or not, but we'll have to watch and wait and see how this reacts after the market opens tomorrow, or at least pre-market opens, and see how that reaction goes. So thanks, Willis. Appreciate the input there. And so now that we've covered some of the big board stocks, I like to get some of the penny stocks as well, because I don't like to keep those folks hanging too long. But OWCP makes the cut again. Now, we talked about OWCP way back here, mid-December, within my mentorship. And since then, it's just gone nuts, right? It was well below a penny. So what happened with OWCP? So first of all, OWCP canceled their reverse split. And then they came, well, I should back that up. So the first catalyst that came out was that they got approval from the FDA. So if you can see here, and this is from OTCmarkets.com. So if you guys are trading penny stocks, particularly OTC stocks, and you've never seen this website before, you got to go to OTCmarkets.com. This is where I do all my due diligence. Well, most of my due diligence, as to say, but this is kind of the starting point. If you're looking to look up information on a particular penny stock, this is where you got to go. So you go to OTCmarkets.com, and here you can see OWCP released a PR mid-December. Patent for cannabis-based extracts and topical formulations for use in skin disorders is allowed for issuance as a patent in the USA. So this is, anytime patent news it becomes a thing that it's always big, right? And so that was kind of like the start of this run. The really big, mover here, what really caused this to seriously move, is that, I should back that up too. So the reason that this didn't move on that particular news is because people were still fearful of a reverse split. So it probably didn't get that much attention. But once they canceled the reverse split, which is, as you can see in this AK here, they actually canceled a reverse split. So you got patent news, and then you have a canceled reverse split. That is a perfect storm. And given the history with OWCP, so I traded OWCP years ago. I traded this one years ago, and it had a monster move. So if you can see this here, let me go all the way back. So this came from sub penny, went all the way up to $3, over $3. An insane move back in 2017. And so I traded it back then. I didn't hold on to it long enough. And actually sold out of this extremely early and did not. If I would have held from what I bought this at originally, OWCP, and held through the $3, even if I held it to $2.50, I'd have been a very rich man. But I didn't. And so, it is what it is. But I don't think OWC makes that kind of move again here, because the share structure is a little bit different and they still have some dilution, that I'm sure they'll end up putting onto this stock at some point. That's why it came all the way back down to these levels. But I think that OWCP, the run is not over here. I like the fact that it's consolidated very nicely here around the $11 cent range. And look for this to potentially break back up over that 13-cent range, or maybe even up to its previous highs around 15.3. Now, full disclosure, okay? This thing has already moved up quite a bit, obviously. It's already moved up, a considerable amount. And so be cautious with this. And I always try to explain this to people with OTCs in general. Any position size that you're planning on taking on an OTC penny stock, for example, if you're looking to invest $1,000 on something like OWCP, work yourself into that position, and that's how you kind of manage risk with these types of stocks. I don't recommend. So I use stop losses when I'm trading the bigger board stuff. Like if I'm trading Tesla, I'll definitely utilize stop losses, that sort of thing. But when it comes to penny stocks, OTC stocks, definitely not a thing. Not something you should be doing, because it just constantly gets tripped. Your stops constantly get tripped. It never ends up working out. So how you manage risk down here is that you take a position size that you initially want, and then work yourself into that position. Maybe it's 20%, maybe it's 25% at a time. And then that way, if you're worried that you might miss out on an opportunity, you're at least getting in at a lower price and then working yourself in so you can average up that way. Or if it doesn't go your way, you can either just not add anything else to it, right? So you can save yourself from adding $1,000 and then watching it all go away. And that way you at least only invested at 250 and manage it however you want. You can average down if that's something that you choose to do, whatever. But I always tell folks, you buy in chunks and then you sell out in chunks. So you're going to sell out into the momentum as well when you go to sell that particular stock. That's how you should be treating OWCP and really any OTC stock. I mean, honestly, that's how it gets done. All right. So the very last OTC stock that I'm going to talk about, something that I bought in on Friday, and that is CTYX. So CTYX, it was something that came off of the gray sheets, which is always a pretty positive catalyst. So it came off of the gray sheets, but this has been something, that's been a little bit weird coming off the grays recent last couple months. There was like a rash of stocks that came off of the gray sheets and it didn't work out well. They came off the grays. 2 days later, they went right back to the grays. This one is a little bit different. And so this is one that's probably a little bit of a dark horse. I use that term a lot with OTC stocks. It's a little bit of a dark horse for me. I didn't go nuts as far as investing in this one. But I've noticed here, if I pull this out on the daily chart, and it's a little bit wild looking chart if you're not used to seeing something like this. But looking at this, it looks like it's been loaded pretty heavily. So I think that there's some loading going on here. And so that is what I'm basing my decision on. That is really it. So it's not like I'm just going in because I think this is a quality stock that's just going to blow my mind. But something's going on here. Usually when you see this type of loading happening, and you're looking at this chart here saying something's up. People are buying this up for some sort of reason. And so that's why I decided to take this one. The share structure looked relatively decent. You go to the share structure on this one, given where it's coming from, this is not bad given this price point. So it's moving very easily. It's moving very nicely. So CTYX, maybe we see a nice move over a penny. But I bought in right around a half a penny, right around in this range here, this lower green line. And so right now I'm green, obviously. So I maybe we see a nice move out of this. This is moving very thinly. So I like the way that it's going right now, but obviously I'm going to manage my risk accordingly. If we go back to a 30-minute chart, you can kind of see that maybe there's a support level around 0060, 0059, somewhere around there, and then maybe again at 0065. So if it comes back down to those levels and looks to potentially bounce from there, that's probably where I would consider getting in. Or if it breaks up over this high that we saw at 0080 or 0079, if you want to get really technical with it. But that's kind of how I would play CTYX. Same way that I explained to you guys as far as OWCP is concerned. I would not go crazy on it. Make sure you're managing your risk and you'll be fine. All right, let me check in with you guys. Hopefully you guys like those stocks that I was, got some value out of that. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Doesn't cost anything. All right, so I see a lot of DMAN. So I haven't been able to go all the way back up to the top, but I see a lot of DMAN. So we can pull up DMAN. Here's the thing about DMAN. Can it continue? Sure it can. But this is pretty similar situation to like an OWCP. The thing is and we'll go to the daily chart on this. DMAN, it's been loaded for quite some time. And it's already gone up from 0012 all the way up to 008. So it's gone up nearly 800% in only a few days' time. Can it continue? Sure it can. But do you want to be the sucker that buys all the way up here at 008 and get screwed out of, whatever? Maybe it continues, maybe it doesn't. But if it continues, I would look for a pullback at some point. Maybe it pulls back down to 005, but there really isn't a definitive pattern here. I'm not seeing much. On a 30-minute chart, even if we come back down to a 5-minute chart, it still looks like what pattern is here right now? You just have nothing to go off of. So when something goes straight up like this, it makes it really tough. The difference between what I was talking about with OWCP, at least it's had some sort of consolidation. With DMAN, we haven't seen that yet. So I'm not saying that DMAN can't continue, but we got to see some sort of pullback. We got to see some area of consolidation before I would say, yeah, this looks like it's holding out very nicely. And this is where you want to get in at. Right now, there's just no area where I would say, keep going. Yeah, just keep throwing money at it because there's just nothing here that's really kind of telling me, okay, this is where you really want to buy in at. Honestly, If you really want me to get honest with you, the only area of support that I'm seeing at this point in time, even if you go to a 30 or 5-minute chart, is a half a penny, or really 0004s, which is almost a 50% drop from its highs. So that's going to be something that you're really going to have to take into consideration when it comes with DMAN. And here's a tip for you too. If you're seeing something like this all over Twitter, which it's just been saturated all over Twitter, DMAN is, it's a pretty good, and I don't want to, again, I'm not trying to bash the stock or anything like that, but when you see a ridiculous amount of hype like this all over social media, all over your chat rooms and everything like that, usually that means those people are selling to you. If you're buying and they're all telling you how awesome it is, you're buying their shares at that point. So just be cautious of that. When you see some crazy hype machine like DMAN, that's usually what ends up happening. People get crazy overhyped on it, and then all of a sudden the bottom drops out, and then you're left with a bag. So just be careful because of how volatile it is and just how much it's moved already. Keeping that in the back of your mind, okay? Again, not saying that it won't continue, but just be cautious of the fact that it's just gone up. 800% is a ridiculous amount in just a few days' time. So be careful. That's all I'm saying. Same thing with, what was the other one? MDMN. And I've talked about MDMP. I've talked about MDMP at length already in a previous Stock Watch Sunday. I believe it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. There's no oil in those wells. I would be surprised if they found anything. I mean, you go back all the way to the 70s and that well's dry. I think the well's done, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Aurora Cannabis. Yeah, we'll talk about Aurora Cannabis. Guys, if I don't get to your particular stock, I'm only going to get to a select few. So if I don't find your particular stock, or if I don't talk about it, please leave comments after I finish this live stream. Leave comments, and then I'll get to yours. Okay? I always read the comments. I always respond to them. So if I don't pick your particular stock, please don't get upset. Just know that I'm in a little bit of a time constraint because I'm not trying to be here all freaking night. But I will get to your stock, and if you want my opinion on it, I will certainly give it to you. Just put it down in the comments, and I'll be happy to address it later. Okay, so we'll talk about Aurora Cannabis, which is ACB, if you guys aren't familiar with that. ACB is one that has been beat to death. All right, the whole cannabis sector has been beat to death. So if we look at Aurora Cannabis, we'll pull this up on WeTradeHQ. Oops, the site here. ACB, come on. There we go. I know what I did because I was switching it around. But if we pull up ACB, let's go on the 30-minute or the daily chart. Yeah, look how much this has gotten beaten down. And this has been the cannabis sector as a whole, right? And ACB had gotten into some hot water because they were cooking their books or something, if I recall correctly. Now, don't quote me as that, but as if the cannabis sector wasn't doing all that great to begin with. Then ACB, turns out they were cooking their books. There's some kind of really shady accounting issues that was going on with them. And it's gotten beaten to hell. It's really at the bottom of the chart right now. So if I'm looking at this, I still would just stay away. I would stay away unless you're really just, knee deep into the cannabis sector and you're just a long-term investor. You're somebody that just keeps adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. With from a day trading perspective or even a short-term swing trading perspective, I would still be waiting for the bottom of the chart. It hasn't really given me a solid bottom. All I keep seeing here is just straight down. So there's nothing here that's telling me that there's a really good area of consolidation. You can make the argument that it did here, but then what did it do? Just continued to tank. And then it did here for about a week or two and then just continued to tank. So there's just no areas here that says, yes, you got to buy here. This looks like a really good reversal. There's none of that. None of that going on. Just nothing but straight down. So be careful with ACB. Be careful with anything in the cannabis sector right now because none of it's coming up. Just keeps going down. I'm very positive in the future of the cannabis industry, but right now it's just not doing well. We really got to wait for legislation to kind of get their act together and really start legalizing a lot of this stuff and making it easier for these cannabis companies to have a profitable business before I really think the entire industry starts to take off. That's when we'll see a really strong move. So if you're investing in this, these are the shares that you want. But if you're looking to day trade this or swing trade this, this is probably one you're going to want to stay away from until you find a definitive bottom and a really good consolidation, and then finally the reversal. Okay? So that is my 2 cents on ACB. I have trouble recommending soil pesticides. Yeah. I see. Willis and Hope's have a little side conversation here. Let's see here. Make sure to check out FCell. Thanks, WeTrade HQ admin. Appreciate that. FCell. We can look into that one. FCell's another penny stock that's been all over the place. Been watching this one pretty closely as well. Let's pull this out on the 30-minute chart. So, FCell looks like it's definitely primed for another bullish move. Reason I'm saying that is because you could see how this gapped up here just before the first of the year. So just after Christmas, you saw a really huge gap up on this one. So I'm just going off the chart. I know there's other catalysts that are involved with this one, but none that I have off the top of my head. But as far as FCell is concerned, from the chart perspective, you can see how it really kind of closed this gap around $1.69 and continued to go up. And so now we're seeing it go up. It's consolidating some. So this looks as if it could continue to go up. What I would wait for is maybe it's some sort of break over around 237 or 250. And then perhaps we'll see a nice continuation of FCell. So be on the lookout for this one. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is this one related to the oil sector? Let me see here. Engages provision of contract research. This is a nice thing about WeTrade HQ, folks. If you're not familiar with a particular stock, you want to get a little bit of a background, you can kind of look here. So yeah, I think this is actually related to oil as well. So if this is related to the oil, it's related to the energy industry. So this one probably ends up doing well tomorrow too. So look for a break over 250 on FCell. I think, if all the other energy stocks are doing well, this one's probably going to do well too. So that's what I would be looking for on FCell, guys. If you're looking to trade that one. Alrighty. Just kind of scrolling through here. Let me find one more. I'm going to find one more to go over for you guys. You guys are awfully chatty tonight. I love it. OPTI? Yeah, let's do it, Hank. OPTI. And again, guys, if I didn't get to yours tonight, please leave me a comment. I would love to, give you my opinion, give you some insight. If you're having trouble trying to determine whether or not you really like a stock, and I can give you my opinion, but just go ahead and leave it in the comments, and I'll be happy to comment on that. But for the sake of time, I could be on here for hours if I if I let it go, if I let it get out of hand. So OPTI. This is an OTC stock, if I'm not mistaken. This is one that was it was great when the run lasted, and now it's really kind of settled back down and bottomed out on the chart. Yeah, this is an OTC stock. So you can see, I remember this one. This is one that had a gigantic AS raise, so authorized share raise, and oftentimes you'll see a huge AS raise because of they're looking to potentially dilute the stock even more. So that's probably why this stock didn't do well after its nice big run. And so this is coming back down here. Now, will they dilute this stock? I think it remains to be seen. So if you see value in the stock, it looks as if, based off of the chart here, if we're going on the 1 hour chart, it looks like it's consolidating and bottoming out nicely here around 0018. So, 0018, 002 looks to be a nice little area if you're looking to continue accumulating this stock. But what I would like to see is if it can break back up over that 003 area. And then that kind of tells me, okay, people are really serious about this one. It's breaking over these resistances. And that's where I probably would start adding to this even more, especially if we see a nice strong catalyst out of this one. As it stands, OPTI still has a really good share structure from, as far as float's concerned. And really the outstanding shares are still relatively decent, especially given this price point. It's a really good share structure. My only worry is if they continue to dilute this thing, especially with this AS raise, that's just something you have to be cognizant of. We have no official word as to whether or not they're going to dilute the stock or not. So until we get that confirmation, it's probably going to continue to remain around this price point. So be on the lookout for OPTI. If you see value in this one, just make sure you're looking out for catalysts. But this would be an area that I would if you're looking for a long-term play on, this would be the area that I would probably continue to accumulate a position on. And then again, like I said, if it starts to break up over 003, 0035, that's when it's like, okay, people are really starting to load this thing and starting to see value. Maybe there's a catalyst that's coming. And so that's how I would gauge OPTI. All right. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Hopefully you got some value out of this. And if you hadn't noticed, I'm wearing my Lamar Jackson jersey just to remind all you football fans out there that who still have teams in the playoffs on the AFC side that you got to go through Baltimore to get to the Super Bowl. And my MVP is waiting for you. So I just had to get that little dig in there. So I think that the Ravens end up crushing the Titans. The Titans do not have a good defense, and I don't think they have any idea what they're getting themselves into with Lamar Jackson and company. But having said that, it would be awesome to see Kansas City come into Baltimore and have them duke it out. I think Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, I think it's going to be a rivalry in the making. I think it ends up being like a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning kind of rivalry, like you get them together and it's just always a great show. So we'll see. I think that's going to be great. But anyways, I just had to say something about that. Nobody said anything about me wearing my jersey, so I had to say something about it. But anyways, guys, if you're interested in checking out any of the mentorships, go to WeTradeHQ.com. African Emporium, as you can see here in the chat, Willis also has his own mentorship. They're all 20% off. Essentially for the next 24 hours. So if you haven't gotten in on the discount for the new year, tomorrow's it. So 20% off for the whole entire site. So if you want to go check that out, go to WeTradeHQ.com. The links are down in the description if you want to get there nice and easy. And come check us out. A lot of the folks that are in this chat right now are in my mentorship, and they love it. They're constantly killing it every day, learning and growing, and everybody celebrates each other's success. We lift each other up. It's just a great community to be part of. So go check that out. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Please leave me a thumbs up if you got value out of this tonight. And if you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button as well, because I do this every single Sunday, 8:30 p.m., and provide you with nothing but winners, baby. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. As always, I'll see you all before the bell. And B. Smith is out. Have a good one.